Hey guys, and welcome back. Well, I'm halfway through another build and I've run into a pretty big problem. I've got a 48mm bore I've got to do, and it's 100mm long, and it's got to be super smooth, smooth as I can get it. Now, I've tried everything I can think of to get that to happen with the boring bars I've got. Obviously I didn't use any of them, but these two here, I just cannot get that finished. It's rough as guts. It's crap. So I've decided to put that build to the side for a few days, and I'm going to build a decent sized boring bar, something with a bit of guts to it and a fair bit of rigidity. And hopefully it works. So I've got no plans for this. I'm just going to wing it and build it on the run. And I don't really want to go and buy anything for this build. I just want to build with what I've got laying around, so I'm just going to wing it. Hopefully it works. If it does, you'll see it. If it doesn't, well, you won't see this video. Anyway, enjoy. Okay, I'm going to shoot for 30mm on this bar. It's a 30.7, 30.69. I'd say that layer's running pretty true. 0.7 to come off. Okay, I've just finished that cut. Pretty happy with that bar. One mark in it there, which I don't know how they got in there. But we'll see how close it is. And I've got to say, these new Mitsutoi verniers are absolutely bloody beautiful. At 29.98, 29.96, 29.97. I think that's running pretty darn true. I'm happy with that. So 0.02 the difference from end to end. So that's down the final dimension. I can part that off, then start working out how I'm going to mount this tool, which I'm going to shorten up a little bit in the end. So it'll be actually recessed in the end on centre line. Okay, just cut that off from the bandsaw. Face it off both ends. Okay, start drilling and boring. Okay, I'm hoping this is just going to be a nice, easy slip fit. I don't want it tight at all. Yep, I got it loose, which is okay. Probably a fraction bigger than what I wanted, but it's going to have some set screws down through the top to hold it in, and have a flat on the bar as well, so it's not going to be able to rotate. It's good enough. I'm going to skim the outside here and then spin it around and skim the other end. I was going to use that bar as a mandrel, but it's a bit floppy for that because I screwed it up. So I'll spin it around now and try and get it as running as true as I can to that centre bore and this outside as well, obviously, and skim this last bit off. I just spun that back around again because I wasn't happy with where I joined up, and yeah, just neatened that back up. So now I've got to spin it back around again because I didn't want to change the setting of the cross slide, and just chamfer this other end and on the side of the bore, but I won't show you that. That's that piece done. Pretty basic turning, but it's got to go in the mill, have a flat put on it for some set screws. This has got to have a flat put on one end for some set screws and a slot in the other end to hold the tool. And I've got to make a square or piece of square stock up to go in the tool post, and this will be welded to it. So it's probably lucky it has got a little bit of play, because by the time I welded it, I don't know what the heat's going to do to it, but anyway, it is what it is. Okay, let me try and explain this. The bars in the T-slots obviously can't go anywhere. Clamped at one end, clamped it temporarily in the guts. I want to put a flat on the top, probably 3/4 of the way down. Once I get down a bit, then I can swap over, put this clamp on this end, piss this one off. With that flat on there, that's where the set screws are going to register, so it doesn't mar it up and get tight in the bore. Once that flat's in, then I can rotate this around, use a square to square it, so I can put the slot in, because there's got to be this is going to sit in a slot with just some set screws that hold this in. And this has got to be, I've worked it out, this has got to be on centre line of this bar. The slot has to be on centre line, which will put the tool on centre line. So that's the reason, or the way, not the reason, fuck me, that's how I'm going to do it. This cutter, Trev took a couple of my cutters home the other day and sharpened them for me, so I'm sure they won't be any dramas at all. They'll cut quite good. Every other one he's done for me is cut absolutely like brand new, so thanks, Trev. That worked out pretty good. There is, you can see a witness mark, can't really feel anything where I changed the clamps over. It's got a little burter nick off here. Okay, so what I've done is used a square, squared up on that new face I just machined on. Now I've got to edge find the centre, and got to go 12mm deep and 11mm wide, that slot has to be. Okay, I'm going to touch off, and the slot will end up being about 55mm long roughly, and I'll shorten it to a suit. we go. So obviously got to shorten it and put it back on so the flat's facing upwards. First flat I put on, and just going to use some small set screws, grab screws to hold this tool in. So what I've done to line up for the set screws is obvious, yeah, pretty obvious really. Just put a pointer in and lined up on the center of the flat of the tool, just by eye, plenty close enough. Okay, so off camera I machined up a block. It was just a square piece of material that I just reduced in size, and I'm going to, while it's in place, is with the TIG, is tack each end, and then I can take it off and hopefully it doesn't move, and then weld it up with the TIG. Once that's done, then I can mount it in the vise of the mill and then run it flat across the top and put 3 set screws in the top here which will hold the bar. Also off camera I did tap these 3 holes M4, so they're all done. So I'll get set up with a TIG and I'll tack these on. I'm not going to show that. Okay, I really need to get some TIG lessons off my young fella, and very embarrassingly that looks shit. That's half acceptable. But it's on there, it's not going to fall off. As you can see, it's pretty dark over in this corner, and if you remember, the camera normally just shakes like a mongrel and get wobble cam on this machine, so it's just simply drilling 3 holes, tapping them M8. Get that the last one done and job's nearly done, almost. Okay, we've got the boring bar in, the 3 set screws are in. I'll show you that in a minute. All there is left to do is shorten this this little boring bar. Well, one might have screwed up and cut that a bit short. Oh well, it'll be right. Wouldn't be one of my jobs if there wasn't a mistake in there, would it? There's 2 longer set screws in the ends and a shorter one in the middle. Spoon, I cut that a bit short. Oh well. And we are pretty good on centre height. Now, a couple of confessions. George. I did make a mistake. The mistake being, I had to put some feeler gauges in under here to get the height right, because obviously I screwed up when I welded this piece on to the boss. It was a fractional load, but anyway, a couple of feeler gauges ain't going to hurt anybody. I just have to make a note of it every time I use it to put them in there. And I guess there's really only one more thing to do, and is that is to put the job in that I've got in the forejaw and see if it's going to work. The job's back in the lathe. I know it's not a fair test to leave it all the way hanging out, but I am going to suck it back in because I've got absolutely bare minimum to pull off this bore until it's right on size, and I'm chasing a really good finish, hence why I've had to build this bar. But later on I'll probably do another test with the hang out with that much stick out to see how much vibration, deflection, whatever we get through the whole setup. So I've got one brand new tip left, I think, so I'll swap that out, do some measuring, and I'll try and get this final cut in. Okay, I've got 1.18 millimeters to come out of this bore in total. Go 0.5. Seat handles at 0.5. Here goes nothing. The calculations tell me I made 0.69. I'm going to run a bit of coolant down there this time too. Okay, here goes. That actually worked. An absolute treat. So what we've got to do, this piston here, the O-ring has to go in there. So I believe that's going to fit beautifully. If you haven't sort of guessed, I'm a bit excited because, yeah, I got to this stage on this project and I couldn't go any further because the boring bars I've got just wouldn't do it. And then it was just sort of a split decision to build this one, and I'd never built one before, so I had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't want to buy anything, so I've just used what I've had laying around and made it worked. Man, oh man, I'm like a dog with two dicks. I don't know which one to lick first. Well, that was a really good result. I couldn't ask for a better finish than what I got inside that bore. And after I showed putting this piston in that bore on camera, I actually put a bit of oil around inside that bore as well. I slid this in and it's absolutely spot on. I was expecting to have to borrow Trevor's cylinder hone and you run the hone up it, but there's no need to. It's plenty good enough. So that was a fun build, considering I had no idea on how to make one and where to start and what to do. So winged my way through it and it worked. Anyway, plenty of boring bars now. One more to the collection, and I've just got to buy one other one to replace the one I cut up, which had already been shortened before for the boring head. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed that, and I can get back onto the original project. So that'll be next week's video. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Hooroo.